Hey folks, Dave here. I appreciate you stopping back by to check out another video, and I hope everyone's doing well today. So we're going to make something else for Easter. We're just going to make a little stand and put an egg and a basket and an initial on it, and then we'll put a name on it as well. So let's just start. We're going to make some bunny ears first. So if you grab the ellipse, and don't worry about size right now, we'll resize everything. And just draw it out. Don't hold shift down. Just draw it out, make it look something like that. Let go. Remember, you can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel. You can push down and move the entire canvas around. So once you draw out what looks like a rabbit ear, click your selector tool, then go over to the offset tool, select it. We're going to do an inward offset, and you can just leave the distance at 1. We may want to go a little bit more to make it look more like an ear. We can grab the outer edge, which is the original ear, and pull it out a little bit. And then you can select it, select the outline you made or the offset, and then click the bullseye. And that looks more like a rabbit ear. Okay, so select it and duplicate it, pull it out. Now we have 2. All right, so we want to make one of these look like it's flopping over. So let's take this one and kind of cant it sideways a little bit. We'll do the same with this one. We're going to weld these together, and then we will use them in a couple of ways. So here you can just you can select the outside. We didn't group anything together, so select the outside, shift, select the outside of the other one, and then go over and hit weld. And now those are welded together. Now we want to make this one look like it's flopping over. So we're going to copy this inside piece, duplicate, pull it out, and we can make this one a little bit smaller, like so. Then we can make this one. We're going to grab it from the bottom and make it smaller without resizing it. So grab the bottom, pull it up like that, pull it over to the other ear, just kind of turn it like that. And you want to make these match pretty good in the where they don't overlap. That is pretty close, but maybe we can get it closer. There we go. And while it's selected, you can select shift and select the outer edge of both that are welded together. And then you can weld that piece in like that. And that looks like a bent rabbit ear. And then if you need to, you can select this one and pull it back up and make it look a little more natural. Now, get a copy of these, duplicate, pull them over out of the way just in case we need them again. And then you can select, right click, and group these together. Okay, those are the bunny ears. Now, just pull these up out of the way. We're going to grab a circle. Again, don't use the shift key, and draw it out to where it looks most like an egg. No matter what the size, when it looks like an egg to you, just drop it. And then click your selector tool. And then we can adjust the size. We're going to duplicate that. Just pull it over to the side. Select this main one, and we're going to make this one. If you look up top, make sure your egg is selected and your lock is on. And then the width we will make 150 millimeters. That is somewhere close to 6 inches. Okay, so this will be our base. Now, we're going to we're going to have the egg over here. So select the small egg, go to Arrange, and click Rotate 90 degrees. And this egg's going to sit right over here. So we'll leave it there, and we're going to make that egg. Again, make sure your lock is on. This time, go to the height, and we're going to make the height 60 millimeters. Okay, 60 millimeters. Now, we want to make a basket with a handle on it. So go over and grab a square. Draw the square out. We're going to resize this, so just whatever looks like the bottom of a basket to you, do that. And then it also has to be large enough that we can do a radius on the bottom corners. Select your selector tool. Go over to the left to radius. Click that. And then go to the bottom of the basket and click the bottom 2 corners and then hit your selector tool again. Okay, so now we can work with this and make it whatever size we want. In fact, I think we'll flatten it down a little bit. When you do, just go back and hit the selector tool. And now we need to put a handle on it. And then we can resize it to whatever we want. So to put a handle on it, we're going to use the text tool. Arial font should work good. And we just want to type a capital U. Then you can hit your selector tool. You can go up to Arrange and you can flip vertically. Now we have this that we can play with and make a handle out of. You can even select your basket, make it smaller, just so your handle doesn't look weird. And then you can zoom in and make sure this handle touches. It can even go down inside like that. That's perfectly fine. And then you can shift, select the basket, and then hit vertical alignment. All right, then you can select it, shift, select the basket, and hit weld. Okay, so now we have a basket. So this should be grouped. It is. Okay. When you weld or you do a union, then it groups it immediately. So now we want to make it look like a basket. So we're going to put make it look like a basket weave. So go get your text tool again. Click, and then just put on your caps and hit X like 3 or 4 times. Click your selector tool. We can size this down. Stretch it out. Just make it fit in there because we're just going to make a line engrave on it to make it look like a basket. So now we're going to duplicate that, pull it down, and butt it up to it. And then we'll see if that, I believe we can stretch this out and make it work. So I'm going to put a line engrave on it and look off to the top right. Move that line up above your cut line. So this over here we can group together now. We can set it on the basket, stretch it out to fill everything in, and it doesn't matter if part of it hangs over, it's just going to hit your honeycomb bed and it won't make any difference at all. Okay, so that's done. You can select everything and group that together. All right, let's see what we've got. All right, so let's put something on this egg to kind of make it look like it's decorated. So just grab a square. Let me scroll in and just go across the center of your egg. Draw out a rectangle. Hit your selector tool. Shift, select your egg, and then hit the bullseye, and it'll put it in the center. Then you can either draw another one out or just duplicate that. Bring it down. You want to resize it. Go to Arrange. Flip it clockwise or counterclockwise, doesn't matter. And then we're going to set this in here. Leave it selected. Go to the left to Array. And then we are going to make, I guess you could make the spacing 2 millimeters. I'm just guessing. And then you can go up to your X columns and click and fill it in all the way across. Matter of fact, we'll take that one away. And there we go. And if it bothers you that they're not exactly centered, you can group them together. It appears they are grouped already. Okay, they're grouped. So then you can select them, shift and select your egg, and then hit the bullseye, and it'll move them over. Okay, so we have the egg done. You don't want the etchings grouped yet to the backgrounds. You don't want the engrave grouped in yet because we got to put tabs on here. When you put tabs on, you want to only deal with the cut portion of your piece. All right, so let's we'll make this for a child. So we'll let's find a good font to cut out letters, and I believe Cooper Black works good for that. There it is. Okay, so selection tool, Cooper Black, and I'm going to put a capital J, and then click the selector tool. I'm going to size it out, and I want to get it about a height of 80, because the egg's 60, and then the letter will just stand up a little above it. So something close to 80 is what I got. Matter of fact, I will make it exactly 80. Okay, that's 80, and it will be selected as a cut. And we're going to size these ears down and weld them to the letter. Hopefully that works out. So, let me get this in here. And it may be a little tricky since I did group that together, but we're going to try to do this and see if it works. If it don't, we'll fix it and make it work. So however large you would like them to be, just touch them to the letter, shift, select the letter, and then click weld. Okay, that worked out pretty good. I like it when things work. And what we're going to do is now you can just select this, ungroup, and then you can select inside the ears and make it an engrave. And then they'll stand out a little better. Don't group it back because we've got to put a tab on the bottom. These are still on standby. We'll just put them out of the way. I think we will copy what we made over here on the egg and put it on this big egg. Of course, I could have made the small egg first, duplicated it, and then pulled the whole thing over and resized it. But I don't always think before I do something. I just kind of do it. So, I didn't want to do that. So I'm hitting Control Z to line it back up. And I just want to make it come all the way across. I don't know why it didn't grab the... I'm going to hit Control Z some more and get rid of it completely. And then I'm going to make sure I touch both lines, duplicate everything, pull everything over, including the outside lines, arrange, rotate, and then resize it to where it kind of sort of fits the egg. And then leave it selected, shift and select the egg, and then hit bullseye. Okay, so now we have that. So now we can put some tabs on. But I want to make sure to move that away from there. Make sure this is not grouped, and make sure that's not grouped. Okay, so for tabs, we'll just make them about 10 millimeters long. Let's see, make that a cut line. And hit your selector tool. In this case, make sure your lock is off. We're using 3mm basswood plywood. So the slot should be about 2.4 to adjust for kerf. At least on my machine. Yours will most likely be a little different. We'll make the slot 2.4 in width. Actually height, the way it's positioned there. And then 10 millimeters. And that is to set slots for here, to put these in. So I'm just going to duplicate this, pull it out of the way so I can resize it, and we can put the tabs on the bottom. So we're going to put one here. anywhere you want to put it, but just for demonstration purposes, we're going to put it there. Duplicate, and we're going to put one here to accommodate the letter. And you can center these. You can select one, shift, select the other, and then hit vertical alignment. And when it don't work, you can hit Control Z. And remember, after you select them, to group them, then shift, select the egg, and then do vertical alignment, and then you'll be good. So now this can all be grouped together. We're done with that. Okay, so let's, the tab that goes on, we want it to be the full 3 millimeters because of the 3 millimeter thickness of the wood. So we make it 3, leave the width at 10, and we'll duplicate. We need one for here. Duplicate again. And if you're doing a lot of something like this, then use array, but when it's only a couple, then you might as well just duplicate. Okay, so we're going to put this on the bottom of this egg here. And you can get in close, and you'll see that the cursor will change from an arrow to a little squiggly line, and you can pull it right up to it, and it'll snap. But in this case, we're going to pull it on up into the egg, and you could center it. While it's there, you can shift, select the egg, and then hit vertical alignment, and it'll move over for you. And then you can hit weld, and there's our tab. But once you put your tab on, don't resize the object, or it will not turn out good for you. I've done that. It's not pretty. So same thing here. Pull it up, and then pull it on through. If it was a straight edge, you could just snap it to it. You can't really center because of the odd shape of the letter, but you can shift, select the letter, and then click weld, and that one is done. Now we will do the basket that looks an awful lot like a padlock, but it's a basket. Same thing, snap. And since that one is square, we'll just try to weld without pulling it through so you can see the difference. Shift, select, do vertical alignment to straighten it up, and then hit weld, and we're good. So that one's good. Now, you can grab your basket weave over here, pull it on top, select, right click and group. I think all that's grouped. It is. You can select your egg, and you can group, and I think we will write a name. I'm going to try to use one of these ears. Let's see. Well, here's what we'll do. We're going to use the inside of the ear. We're going to get rid of this. And then I'm just playing, folks. I want to put write Janie on this and put it on the front of that egg without it looking weird. So that's what I'm up to. And I think that'll work, but I'm going to have to ungroup this. If you don't ungroup, then this would turn into an engrave. So you have to just only deal with the cut portion of your piece. So we're going to shift, select the egg, go over to the left, and weld. And that kind of looks like a spaceship. So to keep it from looking like a spaceship, I'm going to hit Control Z. I'm going to duplicate this, pull it out. Then I'm going to go back, shift and weld it in there. Bring this one back. Resize it a little bit so it looks like the inside of the bunny's ear. We're going to make that a engrave. And then we'll go over. I think we'll change back to, well, we can try it with this one and see if it's, we seriously got to make that smaller. But you can just hit the down arrow to make it smaller. And I'm just going to type out Janie in all caps. And it's not typing. It's doing something up top there. So let's try this again. And then hit your selector tool. I'm just going to make this a red line engrave. I'm going to pull it to the top. Always be sure to pull your engraves above your cut line. If you don't, it will not be pretty. So now we're going to take this and try to just put it right there. And that is it, folks. So you could, if you wanted to use a real egg, colored egg, of course you could just cut out a circle here to set the egg in, and then raise the base off of the whatever you set it on, have it raised up. Even if you had some tabs sticking through that were extra few millimeters just to accommodate the egg. But that looks like it. So let me get set up in the laser, and we'll cut this out again out of 3mm basswood plywood, and we will see how this looks. Okay, folks, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're framed up and ready to go. And again, this is 3mm basswood plywood. So we'll send the code on over to the laser and get this cut out. Okay, well let me get this put together, and we'll see what it looks like. Be right back. Okay, so here's our finished piece. Let me see if I can get it closer without dropping it. It turned out pretty good, and we didn't have to download any vectors. We made our own. You can save all these vectors to your hard drive or put them in a art library. And if you missed the video on art libraries, how to create one, then I'll drop a link down to that in the description. You can check it out. So I'm not sure I said in the Lightburn portion of the video, but the basket is the same height as the egg, which was 60 millimeters. And the engraving is pretty light, but it's perfect for a guide for painting. So you could paint it, and if you didn't want to paint it, you could increase your power or back off on your speed and make the engraving a little darker. So I really appreciate you folks watching and helping the channel grow. I hope the videos are helpful. So I'll drop a link also in the description for all of the projects we've done, as well as the Lightburn tutorials. So y'all check back often for new videos. Hopefully we'll have some more out soon. And y'all take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.